everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to episode 2 of Pucks and Power Plays podcast, brought to you by Boston Sports Entertainment Network. You can find BSEN on Twitter and YouTube and Instagram at BSEN_617. You can find our podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Pucks and PPs Pod. My name is Emily. You can find me at Hyper Emmy, and I have on a really cool brand new hoodie because our hoodie and t-shirt are now available on our website. And this is...
I'm Liz. You can find me on Twitter at Liz__Fraser. And you should definitely check out those hoodies. They're super comfy. I will be getting one shortly. And they're the best. And they represent such a cool podcast. Yes. So definitely get it.
I'll put it's bscn617.square.site. I'll put it in the comments really quick. I was away for work this weekend, and I came home to this in my mailbox. That word was hard. Wow. Came back to this in my mailbox, and I was super pumped. I love this sweatshirt. It's really comfy. There's also a bunch of other Bruins ones too. If you don't necessarily want one from the podcast, I mean, whatever. Our podcast is really cool. But if you want something that doesn't have our podcast and just Bruin stuff, I guess we have that too.
You know, there's some other stuff, but
yes,
I think we take the cake. We're pretty cool.
We're pretty cool.
And it's a sick logo, so
I know. I'm biased,
that.
But
it's
know,
beautiful. There's no bias here. None whatsoever.
No, never. Sorry, I'm tweeting that we're live really quick. I forgot to do this while the intro was playing. I got into jamming with the intro. Tweet really quick. Wait.
Okay, I was making sure I had fun little statistics. We
love statistics.
No, we don't. Not these ones. Trust me, you're not going to like them. They're actually really sad.
Liz, I'm scared! Liz!
You should be. I'm more scared for Chris Kelly's job, if anything, with these statistics.
Ooh. Tell me more. Tell me more. I am interested. I also, okay, so I was watching, Something's Bruin did a roundtable the other night, and I think Lily said this maybe, or it might have been somebody else, but I think maybe somebody said it during their roundtable on Tuesday night that Chris Kelly never played in the power play or penalty kill units when he was a player. And I was like, oh, that's real interesting. Somebody can fact check that for me. But I swear I heard somebody say it last week on that roundtable, which I find very interesting because somebody was like, it's interesting that he's the special teams person. He was never on a special teams himself. And I was like, mic drop. Liz is going to look it up right now.
Okay, he might have been on it because he does have power play goals.
Oh, okay.
So, and shorthanded goals.
Oh, so then he was. Okay, great.
Yeah. So he knows what he's doing.
Okay, great.
Hopefully.
Well, I mean, apparently not if his stats are bad. Tell me more about this.
So, remember last time when we were curious what the stats were with and without Lindholm?
Yes.
I did the math. I got bored and decided to do the math.
I'm obsessed. I'm ready. I can't wait for him to be back. I'm hoping he'll be back when we get back from break.
We didn't have the best ones with him, but they're better than what they have been. Oh. So in the 17 games with Lindholm, our power play was at an 11.8%. We scored on 8 of our 68 power plays. And then without him, I did it the night right after the podcast. We were at, and this is without the most recent games, we were at a 10.3% for 17 in 165 chances. And now, with the next 3 games, we are still 17, but for 172 with a 9.9% on the power play without Lindholm. So clearly, he did something right, even if it was only 8 for 68. But, yeah, we've had 9 power play goals without Lindholm.
So Lindholm,
or 17, yeah,
is not the difference maker.
No, he'll help it, I think, because at least with him, It is a smaller sample, but it's still like 11.8, which is better than 10.3 and 9.9.
Yeah, we're currently 30th.
And we were still having all of our issues with figuring out lines during that time when he was there. So
yeah, oh yeah, we're switching lines every game.
Yeah, there was no chemistry. We have that now, so hopefully with him those numbers go way up. Hopefully.
Well, and it's so interesting. Oh man, why do we suck? There's like, I was really hoping it was going to be that. I was truly hoping that was going to be the answer of like why we're not good.
I mean, it might be because 8 for 68 is bad, but when you're shuffling lines every game and swapping who's in and who's on the power play,
things happening that weren't good at that time as well.
Yeah, because that was before Monty was fired too.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's a completely different coach, and we have nothing on that with Lindholm. So he could be the difference maker.
He could be.
Especially if we've been having consistency in our lines for the most part.
Yeah.
We've had a consistent like power play units.
Yeah.
So if we just plop him in there, maybe he'll bump that number up from a 9.9.
Here's hoping. Because listen, the only thing that we're topping right now the charts in is penalty minutes. And ironically, shutouts. We are in third place in shutouts.
It's
other than that's all we got.
It's the weirdest thing because we'll go games where it's like, oh, we can score 2 goals. That's it. The other team can score 20 on us. And then all of a sudden we're having these wonderful games where we're scoring. What is it? Like 3-0. I think we've had like a 5-0.
Yeah.
And our goalies are just brick walls.
Yes.
And our defense is actually playing.
And I think that's the difference is the defense. It's like when the defense wants to show up is when we see a difference. Like,
yeah,
the goalies are doing their damnedest. Our goalie, we have 2
They're trying.
Great goalies.
They can only do so much. If you get through 5 players, you can't blame the goalie unless they like royally contribute to it and mess up.
Yeah.
They have to get through 5 players to get to the goalie.
Yeah.
So that's on the team.
Yeah. Well, speaking of shutouts, that's how we started our little week. So we've had 3 games since last Monday when we recorded. And the first one was a shutout against the Wild at home. And it was Marc-Andre Fleury's last time at TD Garden.
We can steal him. Maybe it won't be his last time.
I love him so much. I love that man.
He's amazing. Have you seen him answer the questions, like the goalie interview questions?
No.
Oh my god. It is so funny.
I saw the start of it this weekend. I started watching the video this weekend, and I think I was on the plane or something, and my headphones died, and I was like, oh, I'll bookmark this and get back to it, and I haven't gotten back to it.
Oh, it's fantastic. He's Flower in every best way with all of his answers. It was fantastic.
He's the best. He is like public perception, right? Potentially he's not this way, but I would like to assume he is. He just seems like a genuinely sweet dude.
Yeah.
Who really just like loves this game.
He loves this game. He loves his pranks.
Loves his pranks.
And they're harmless. So like, what's not to love? He thanks his post.
He does.
And he does it in French too, because he doesn't assume what they speak.
Yes.
Like, he loves the game. He supports a post. Like,
yes. Even, like, listen, they lost 3-0, but dude he had some great saves in that game.
He did.
Great too. Yeah, go us. But Marc-Andre Fleury had some great saves in his regular season game at TD Garden. somebody that I like follow on Twitter was there. A lot of people actually that I follow on Twitter were there.
Yeah.
Like all the signs and like all these Bruins fans that came out to support him, I think was really cool to see. Like as somebody who just loves the sport in general, I think that was really cool to see from like a fan perspective.
And definitely with like a goalie, because I feel like goalies don't always get this recognition, especially not even just within their fan base, but other fan bases. They're very quick to like complain and shit on a goalie.
Yeah. I mean, we see it happen every week.
Dude, Boston's just, as a goalie lover, I hate Boston fans so much with how they are with goalies, because what do you mean Rask is the worst goalie ever?
Literally!
What do you mean Thomas sucked? What do you mean Swayman should be like kicked off the team?
Doesn't deserve any money he makes. Yeah.
Like, can we not be happy that we have good goalies? They can have a bad game. It's okay. Everyone will eventually have one bad game in 82 games.
They also complain about our goalies down in Providence, even though literally they also are topping the charts when they're playing. So, like, tell me more about how the franchise goalies suck, please.
Please. We have no prospects. We can't have a goalie. All of our goalies are awful, actually. Our entire team's awful. You know, there's nothing good in it.
No.
I
mean, it's so frustrating. I feel the same way. I feel the same way because people are the first to like blame goalies because they're like, oh, he let in a goal. You want to try to stop like
Yeah.
They are this size coming at your face at 90 miles an hour.
Or faster, depending on the player. You want a hard slap shot from like Chara in his prime? No.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I would move out of the way immediately. You're telling me you wouldn't flinch if a puck came flying at you?
Literally, you can't skate. You keyboard warrior, sir, because it's always a dude. Sorry, guys, but
it always is.
I have yet to meet. That's a lie. I have met one unkind lady on Twitter. But listen, Mr. Keyboard Warrior, I don't see you even knowing how to skate, let alone get ice in between the pipes and have something like that flying at your face at 90 plus miles an hour, and your padding is like it's this thick, bro. Like, okay, it's probably a little thicker. This is probably an exaggeration, but not by much. It's like
no. Yeah. And if you get hit in the wrong spot too, like there's so many areas where there's no padding on a goalie. So if you move to go and you're a bit slower, or they shoot it from a weird angle and it goes off something and you're getting hit in an area where there's little to no padding.
Yeah.
You're like dead. I'm sorry. That's
for real. The bruises from this is it like but they want to blame the goalie. No, bro, there are also other people on that ice. That also this is their job.
Their equipment's heavy too. Like my brother, he's a goalie. He has thrown his chest protector at me after a game because, you know, I'm a sister and it's smelly, so he's going to throw it at me. Yeah. Those things are heavy. Even without sweat, they're heavy. And then 60 minutes of just sweat on it as well.
Yeah.
I'm surprised goalies don't get weighed down more often.
They move so fast. Like, yeah. I too, Mr. Keyboard Warrior, cannot skate. However,
goalies are on drugs. That's the only answer.
They're crazy. They are crazy. They have like 50 pounds of pads on them, and they move faster than any of us do when we're looking at pizza. Like, let me tell you, I move fast when I see pizza.
I was a runner. They move faster than me. I'm sorry. I was a sprinter for track.
For real.
They're faster than me.
Yeah, hands down. Goalie tangent. Woo. But yes, Marc-Andre Fleury was great. That game was interesting.
It was great for the Bruins, honestly. We had played like consistently. I think this is the first game all season. Everyone in every single position, every single player played like they wanted to play a game. Like we didn't have, that random player is, you know, kind of out of it, or there's a few people who don't fully look into it. All 18 skaters looked like they knew there was a hockey game going on.
Yeah.
They looked like they knew what was going to happen. It looked like an actual team.
Yeah.
And then we had guys who haven't scored in how long? Score.
Yeah. Yeah. Trent Frederick scored.
Yeah.
Matt Poitras had 2 assists.
Good for him.
I will say this until I am blue in the face. The time in Providence did this kid well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I said this last week or if I just tweeted about this. But whatever Providence is doing,
keep doing it. Everyone looks great when they come up.
Everyone that comes up looks great. Whatever they are doing down there is working. Like these guys, every single time they're getting called up, I feel like we can see a transformation from the beginning of the year when these guys were called up between every time they're getting called up now. They are playing so much better. Their communication on the ice is better. Their skills are just that much more in tune with where we expect NHL players versus AHL players to be. Like, I think Jones I am so happy to have been proven wrong with Jones, and I will say that continuously as well. I truly did not expect anything from him when he got called up, and he was great. Callahan was great when he was just up. Matt Poitras has been incredible. He just got called down to Providence for the break. We're hoping it's just for the break so that he can continue playing. I'm hoping he comes back in 2 weeks. I really hope he comes back. But whatever they're doing has been whew.
Mm-hmm.
Hats off. Why was that difficult? Hats off to the Providence team and their coaching staff because they've got it on lock right now.
Yeah. I mean, English it's difficult.
Oh, gosh.
I was a writing major. It's difficult. Trust me.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to spell. I can, but
I slept 15 minutes on Saturday night. I landed here in Florida at like 2:30 yesterday. I was asleep by 3:00. Took a nice 3.5 hour nap and then slept for like 9 hours.
Nice. 2
work trips, 2 weekends in a row, friends, it's not good for your brain space.
No. Also, like I've worked, I think it's 11 days straight now without a day off. And I don't have short shifts at my job. My brain's a bit fried.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
I don't like it. I don't want this.
No.
The Providence Bruins are in 4th place currently. Oh, they're tied with Charlotte though. They're tied for 3rd.
They're doing better than us.
Yeah, they are.
But I think it's good that we sent Callahan and Poitras back down because this way they're getting games in while break's going on. I think Providence has 4 games, I want to say, during our break. So they're getting time. They're still going at it, so they should be. I'm not saying everyone on break won't be ready when they come back, but like they should be on it and fully ready.
Yeah.
Because this is also Poitras's first actual break, considering he got injured before break last season.
Yeah.
And I'd rather they stay.
The schedule and just got distracted by these jerseys that they're. Hold on, I gotta share.
Wait,
this.
what jerseys?
These share. These are so cool. I just wanted to go up, look up the schedule, and this is the first thing that comes up.
I love their special jerseys that they do like almost every other weekend. Every AHL team.
So sick.
I know I don't root for all of you, but please just send me like
literally
themed jerseys, please, because they're awesome. Like, look at that.
And the myth, the legend, the NHL All-Star, one of the top goalies. Oops, I did not mean to. That's fine. One of the top goalies currently in the NHL, ladies and gentlemen.
I want that jersey. I want a bear that's a Ninja Turtle at the. It's a Ninja Bear. I want a Ninja Bear.
Best. These are
That is
great.
awesome.
The man, the myth, and the legend. Our favorite AHL goalie. No, but we have an SPHL team down here, and they truly have some of the best jerseys, like Batman jerseys from them, and they are sick Batman jerseys. But like AHL minor league teams get to have the funnest things. Although I say that, and Seattle Kraken and San Jose Sharks have killer jerseys this season for specialty jerseys. A lot of them are like local artists choose those areas as well, but both of those teams have been killing it with those specialty jerseys this season. They are gorgeous. If there's any other that are doing great, I'm sure there are, but those two specifically are ones that like I have been blown away by.
Other teams need to step it up. The NHL should step it up and maybe just bring back fun jerseys and like
the NHL needs to focus their priorities a little bit. You want to grow the game. Let's talk about growing the game and actually like celebrating things that need to be celebrated and not focusing on the color tape that somebody is using on their stick and whether or not it's appropriate for people using. Nobody cares if it's a rainbow tape. It's cool. People can use it if they want to.
Have you seen a rainbow in nature? It's pretty. It's magical. Let it happen. Or like, don't require a game to be on 50 different streaming services where it's like, oh, you can watch on NESN this week. Oh, now you need TNT. Now you need ABC. You need ESPN. ESPN Plus now.
Literally. I think it's about football too. Like, I'm out of market for most. I think every once in a while Tampa puts me in market, even though I'm 6 hours away. But I am out of market for most teams, all teams except for Tampa. So I can get most games on ESPN Plus because, like, NESN, for example, streams to ESPN Plus if you're out of market. So I get NESN's broadcast on ESPN Plus for the most part. But then if it's on NHL Network, I can't watch it. I illegally stream it. Nobody tell anybody.
Everyone illegally streams it at this point because it's like, oh, you can actually watch it. Oh, actually, it's blacked out for you.
$140 because you can't watch all the games on there. It would be different if I could watch all the games on there, but I only get like 5 games for the season on there. No, thank you.
That's not how you grow the game. That's how you make it. That's how your viewership goes down. That's how you have issues. Like their Winter Classic they did. I'm sorry. Why was it on the day it was on the 31st, first of all, because then it's technically not a 2025 Winter Classic. It is now the second 2024 Winter Classic.
Yes.
And then there were so many games that day, I didn't even realize it was happening. I watched the Bruins over them.
I watched our game because our game was in the afternoon. That one was later at night or whatever. Didn't even realize because it used to be the first. I think next year it's the second.
Yeah, it's the second next year. Which whatever. It's a bit weird, but
I get they have to use it with other sports or whatever. But like, let me tell you, a large number of hockey fans though are just hockey fans. I am not watching college football. I do not care about college football because I'm from the Northeast. We have no college football teams that are worth mentioning. I grew up watching Syracuse basketball, and that was the only college sport I knew was Syracuse basketball and Syracuse lacrosse. But didn't watch football until my sister went to University of Arizona, and like I learned that it was a thing. Like truly, honestly, couldn't have cared my entire life.
We've just had hockey up here. Yeah, like decent college hockey.
Yeah, we were just talking about this.
Decent,
the Beanpot finals are today. Harvard just beat Northeastern.
Which, like, who saw that coming?
Not me. I truly thought Northeastern would have won that game.
Same.
BC and BU is about to start. Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith are apparently going to the game tonight because they went to opposite colleges. So they were going to go to the game tonight, which I think is really fun to get to do.
And it also, like, especially with them going, helps grow it too.
Yes. They are just little nuggets. I just want to pinch their cheeks. Like,
can we take them? I made a joke to my parents when we played the Sharks in Boston that we should just, like, kidnap them. But because we kidnap them, we don't have to take their contracts. So the Sharks have to pay them. We get them for free. They play for Boston now.
Yeah. Yeah. They're living, well, I don't know if Will Smith is, but Macklin Celebrini's living with Joe Thornton. Like, I think it's great. Just,
he's been here before.
I do not acknowledge that Joe Thornton is a Shark in any way. He is forever a Bruin in my mind, and you can never tell me otherwise. I will die on this hill.
He is ours. Therefore, we get the child, and
yes,
we'll just collect them all for free.
The picture of them, like them all at the Lakers, not the Lakers game. Maybe it was Lakers game. Whatever NBA game they went to.
Yeah.
NBA game. It was really cute. It's so funny. Oh, but yes.
We can never separate them. That's all I'm asking the NHL and the Sharks. Please do not separate them.
No.
I think that would be awful.
I think they complement each other so well on and off the ice. And I think it's really great for them as players and for their development and for their love of the sport to have somebody to go through this process.
Yeah.
They are both such big generational talents. And I don't think Will Smith gets talked about enough because of how great Macklin Celebrini is. But both of them are such great athletes that I think it is incredible and such a great experience for them both to have somebody to do this with. Like, I think Connor Bedard is a great example of the opposite. He, too, is a great generational talent, but he's kind of doing it by himself. And yes, there are great people to mentor him on the Blackhawks, but I think he has such a different experience than the other two do because they have somebody to do it with. They have somebody to grow with who gets what they're going through at that exact moment, as opposed to, like, Connor Bedard is the baby of that team and has a lot of great mentors, yes, but, like, doesn't have somebody sitting next to him that he's like, shit, dude, what just happened? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I think they're having two different experiences because of who they're doing it with.
Yeah. Like, he has an Uncle Nick. Fantastic. Everyone loves an Uncle Nick.
Yes.
And he has, like, he's gotten definitely more aggressive playing with Bert. And, you know, that's a good way to kind of grow, to play with other players who have different skills than you because you learn them as well. Yeah. He has no one his age that just works with him. Like, we had Bergeron and Marchand. Yeah. Sure, they were drafted 3 years apart. But they came in relatively around the same time.
Yeah.
They were both young. They worked well together and developed that bond.
Yeah. You also had Sagan in the mix there. Like, him and Marchie were close before he left too. Yeah. I think it's so different when you have somebody to do the experience with. And I think you see it with some of these guys that, like, play longer as well. Like, when they have like a group that they're buying into, they're playing longer, or they're trying to at least.
Yeah.
Your body can do so much with these guys no matter what. But
McAvoy had Grzelcyk and DeBrusk. And then I feel like Pasternak's just kind of alone. Like, he has other players who came in around him, but I think he was the only forward that's still here from that time.
Yeah.
So he's kind of alone in that department.
Well, and he had a lot of friends, like, internationally that got drafted the same year as him, but they all went elsewhere.
Yeah. Like, he had Krejci, but it's different when it's someone who's older versus someone that's your age.
Yeah. And he was really close to Torrey Krug before Torrey got traded. Ugh.
No, he didn't get traded.
Whenever they like visit each other, they're so freaking cute.
I'm still upset that he left us to go to St. Louis following that final.
I have a lot of feelings.
There is my number one feeling.
There are so many duos that or trios that like our team has had in the past like 5 or so years that are truly like they played together in a way that you can't explain to other people. And like it is mismanaged, whatever, like mismanagement of a contract or negotiations or whatever it is that makes them leave. Like you just look at that duo or that trio and you're like, shit, we really had something special. And I'm sure a lot of teams can say that, but like the last 5 years especially, I feel like we've lost so many of those like dynamic pairings that it hurts. It hurts a lot.
Like Allmark and Sway, if you just want the most simplest and like basic one, the two of them, we got a goalie hug out of that. Yeah, started the whole thing.
Literally. And like that's one of those situations that I know there was no winning in that. I know that they both deserved more. And like they truly both are like incredible talents and they deserve to both have the spotlight. But that one hurt a lot.
You know, maybe with the cap space going up the way it is the next few years, we could actually fit both of their contracts.
That would be true.
Like, I love Corpy. He's great, but I would like some goalie hugs again. So maybe we just play the three of them.
Their water bottle thing is real cute beforehand, but like there's nothing that ever tops a goalie hug.
No, like they have their own little thing. They've been doing different things at the end of each game now.
Yeah.
I still watch it. Because Carlo and Sway still have their thing that they've kept from the hugs.
Yes.
And a few players still have things that they're slowly making with him.
Yeah.
So I still watch it. I think it's nice.
It is. It's cool. Quick aside. I just got an alert about Twitter too. It's happening! Macklin Celebrini doing the lineup tonight.
Woo!
And Lane Hudson, I think. This game should be starting like any minute. I think the
heart should be
a little long, so maybe it's delayed by a little bit. We see who. I wonder if Will Smith did theirs. Let me check to see if they say anything. No, they didn't.
It would have been so cute if they both did it.
I know. I feel like this is a great time to have Beanpot because you have like so many guys in the NHL have come from BC and BU. It would be really cool if the NHL did something with Beanpot specifically and like not necessarily like sponsored NHL players to go, but like if there was a way that they could partner somehow with Beanpot like more. I know they talk about it, but so many of these guys came from BU and BC. It would be so cool for them to do something big and like do an alumni suite at the game or like something like that where these guys could all go and like this is the business side of my brain and like network though and like
it'd be smart.
And you have these big generational talents out of these schools. It would be really cool to like do an alumni suite for the game for each of the teams and like allow especially these younger guys like Macklin and Will the chance to speak to some of these legends that have come out of these schools that like they've met in passing and I'm sure they've talked before, but really take the opportunity to get to watch such a tradition in Boston sports. Get to do it together and kind of like celebrate. They all went to this tournament at some point in their careers. Like it'd be kind of cool if they could do something like that. Beanpot, hit me up. Let's talk marketing. I can assist.
I'm curious, like how often it's talked about on the West Coast, because over here, obviously, it's East Coast schools. It's played at the Garden.
Yeah.
We're going to hear all about it just because it's happening here. I'm curious how, so like, I don't have a good gauge on how covered it is outside of New England because I hear about it literally every second.
I'm
curious what it is in the West.
Yeah, I saw something on Utah Hockey Club did a video on it or something because they have a bunch of guys that played.
Yeah.
And I was like genuinely surprised that a team further in the West was talking about it.
I like how they're doing stuff this season. They're explaining a lot, and I don't know if it's because they're like a new team that's not a new team and they're getting all these new fans because they're in Utah, so a bunch of people who didn't watch it are watching it. But I like how they're going about it and teaching everything and teaching, like, even outside of just the NHL, what stuff is and how important it is to the game.
I absolutely love it. Even having watched hockey my entire life, again, this is maybe my business brain. I think it's really incredible that like a team is talking about like what the heck is hockey. Like because even I learned something new. I think there are calls all the time that were like, okay, how did that actually like what part of the rule applies here?
Yeah.
I think it's really cool that you have this team that because they are in a new market, they're trying to get new fans and new people interested. So they are explaining a lot of things. And I think it's really cool because it's stuff like that like we're talking about growing the game. Like that is how you grow the game is take these moments to explain things. Like even Boston, yes, you're always going to have generational fans and you're always going to be able to get new fans because it's Boston. Clear. But I think like taking the time to also explain it to people who don't get it is also how you gain new fans and like you welcome new people into the game instead of being like, oh, you don't know what icing is? Like, oh, here, let me take 2 minutes to explain it to you so you can be a part of the conversation and you can watch the game and like feel like you're gaining something from it. I feel like it's really cool to see that for Utah. And yes, they kind of have to so that they can like have knowledgeable fans since all of their fans are like new. But I also think it's really important in like building a solid fan base as well is taking the time to like meet your fans where they're at and like make sure that they can be a part of the conversation.
Yep. It's just smart. Just follow Utah at this point. They know what they're doing.
What Utah does.
Follow them for their concession stand prices, because when I saw those at the start of the season, I genuinely debated going to like almost every single Utah game. Because I'm sorry, $2 for, what is it, food and $3 for drinks or vice versa? Where is that at the Garden? Why am I paying $15 for 3 chicken tenders?
For real.
I want...
And it's not his first rodeo. He also owns the NBA team that's been there for however many years. I also didn't know that he was the founder of Qualtrics and like.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, it's like a data, like a survey data
website
thing. Didn't know that. But yes, like the way he's doing things is so unconventional and so absolutely awesome.
It's so smart because that's how you get people in.
Literally, like you don't need to be charging all of this money. Like it's just unnecessary just to put in your pocket at the end of the day. Like, how is that helping? And yes, no matter what, people are going to go to the Garden. Fully aware. People are going to buy the $15 beer and the $15 chicken nuggets. Got it. Clear. But like, if you don't have to do it, if there's a way you can do it that allows everybody to be a part of it, then why not do it that way? You can tell I work in educational programming and DEI. Like, but let everybody have a seat at the table, y'all.
Yeah.
Especially you keyboard guys who say that girls shouldn't be in sports, because I don't know why that's popping up on Twitter every single week, but that's a thing lately, and I am not here for that.
Because they're sad that girls know more about the sport than they do, and they feel really insecure about that, so they have to tell us we don't belong, because otherwise they're just sad little men. And they still are sad little men even without that, but they're sad.
I really appreciate, though, when other guys pop into the conversation and they're like, what are you doing? Like, girlfriend knows a lot more than you do. And I'm like, yeah, I do.
Did you see it? It was one of the reporters. I forget for which team. A bunch of people were complaining, being like, you don't know sports, you don't participate. And they're like, she's literally a reporter for,
oh my God.
Was it the Devils? It might have been the Devils.
No, I haven't seen this.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny. Or like when they are like a conventionally just drop dead gorgeous human and the boys are like, you know nothing. I'm like, bro, she works in sports. She knows a lot. She gets paid.
Mm-hmm. Or the moment you say like a player did well and they're like, oh, you only like the sport because a guy's attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Swayman had a shutout. He's attractive. He's totally. Yeah. That's it. It doesn't mean he's good at his
game. Specifically got the shutout because he's pretty. Let's be clear here. He's not a talented man. He's just pretty.
He's pretty. So the shutout was because of his prettiness and not the fact that, like, you know, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
We can't compliment him on it. Sorry. I forgot about that.
We also can't understand like how his stats work and what any of it means either.
We also
can't this and be like, pucks and power plays. They said that Swayman's not good. I'm gonna be like, okay, it's not what we said, but go off.
No, it's not. Or it's like how people are like,
so now clean has made its way into my language for the last 2 weeks, and I'm like, I don't know why that's a thing now, but okay.
Or what is it? Plus minus. How everyone's like, oh, that matters. When really you actually have to look at it on a case-by-case basis, because what about when they score a second after a penalty and the guy just comes out of the box?
Literally.
So now all of them have a minus. And you're like, oh, whoever it is sucks because they're a minus 20, whatever. And it's like, so how many of those were penalties that he served for the team?
Yes.
Because it's either been like, you know,
men or
a bench minor on the coach. You have to have a player serve it, or an unsuccessful challenge. So it's not the actual player who committed it. And suddenly he's a minus 20 because he's right as he's come out of the box, there's been 5 goals.
Yeah. It's not like Z, who like his stats are pretty on par with him himself earning them. He himself has earned all of his penalty minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Not every player is like that.
No. Like Pasternak, if we need to throw a guy in the box, it's him because he doesn't play on the kill. So what, he gets a minus for stepping out of the box for something and all of a sudden he sucks?
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Yeah. Sometimes when those like, I don't know who puts them out, but like somebody puts out that graph after every game with all the plus minus. It's not necessarily like the plus minus, it's like it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like a visual plus minus of their defense and offense for the game. Sometimes I'm like, yes, this is true.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes though, I'm like,
you sure
I know that the stats say this, but I feel like this is not reflective of how well they did in the game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because sometimes they'll have some guy like first or some guy last, and I'm like, that's not, he shouldn't be there.
No. I think it's like the hard part though about stats is like with hockey, it's not like football. Football, you come on for the play, you do the play. If you're not in the next play, you leave the field. Like hockey are like, I hope you all enjoyed that.
I love that.
Do you ever do something and then immediately afterwards you're like,
Yep.
You're all so welcome. Called growing.
It's like that one game, what was it? I want to say 3 weeks ago now, where everyone went for the line change except for Carlo.
Yeah.
So it was essentially a 4-on-1. Poor Carlo never stood a chance. They scored. None of the guys who then hopped on the ice were able to get, or I think one of them just got into the zone when they scored. So all of them got a minus. Yeah. I'm sorry. I think the 4 guys who got off the ice when they should not have gotten the ice should have the minus, not the 4 guys who got on, because
you made a poor decision.
What do you want them to do in that situation? Like, they can't just not go on the ice.
Yeah.
And then they're going to get essentially penalized in their stats for getting on the ice when the others messed up.
Yeah.
And then Carlo, the only man who stayed on the ice. I'm sorry. Take away that minus. He stayed.
Yeah.
He wasn't done.
Line change decision. And everybody loses.
I mean, we saw that in Game 7 in 2019.
Womp, womp, womp. You just had to go there, man. You had to go there. To. Speak the truth.
It hurts my feelings, but I had to go there.
Yeah. Well, we're currently in a hiatus, in a little breaky break. We're in 4 nations. We had a weird week. We had 1 win and 2 losses.
We should have won. I'm sorry. The game against Vegas.
So I am at a conference, right? I am presenting the entire game. I had no presentations before and no presentations after. But you better believe the 3-hour time slots that the game takes place in, I have presentations. So I have my phone. I don't wear a watch. So I have my phone there and I'm like checking the time. And there's like 10 minutes left in my last session. And we are in the 3rd period and I see the thing pop up that we're tied. And I am like I'm like, everybody talk amongst yourself, like whatever it was, share with each other for 2 minutes. Just share your ideas with the person sitting next to you for 2 minutes. And I'm like, what do you mean we're fucking tied? What do you mean we're tied? And then I'm getting done with my session. I'm like, you have questions? Here you go. Anybody have questions? No. Okay, great. Thanks. You guys are done. Bye. And I'm like on my phone and I see the Vegas goal pop up and I literally go, oh shit. And one of my coworkers is like walking in to swap rooms with me and she goes, what? I said, nothing. Lucky. Nothing. I think I just lost. Like, why?
There was so much about that game. One, Twitter, I wanted to actively fight because I was trying to post stuff for the podcast and it kept crashing. Like, I would get onto the account, I would hit post and the app would crash and nothing would go through and I would have to retype.
Oh my God, I hate that.
And then it started doing that on my main account too.
Oh my God.
And I was like, am I suddenly like blocked or banned on Twitter on both accounts? What happened?
Twitter knew that the Bruins were going to lose, and they were like, do you really want to talk about it right now, babe? Like,
and then I finally got the first one through with like 8 minutes remaining in the first intermission because I was just doing my thoughts at that point. I'm like, you get my thoughts. That's it. I'm not even fighting Twitter anymore. If it doesn't want to let my thoughts through, then whatever. It was the last effort, and it worked. And yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about that game.
Tell us your thoughts. I'm ready. I haven't watched it yet. I was going to watch it earlier today, and today did not go as planned. So
I'm not going to lie. Those refs really upset me.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So we had a goal that immediately got waved off, even though I think, if I remember correctly, they did point that it was a goal. And then when actually it's no goal on the ice when they reviewed it, it was interference. It got called back.
I hate interference.
But then the goal that they took back from Vegas, where he hits Sway in the head, and they point at it and go goal and say, this is a goal on the ice. It's under review now. We're calling it a goal. The other one, I believe they called it a goal and then went, actually, it's no goal. And then they still reviewed it.
I saw one thing about a no goal at some point.
Yeah. But he's staring at it and he's like, it's a goal. What? I'm sorry. Are they blind?
Yes.
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
I do have a beautiful quote. Let me pull this up. From my fiance when he was still getting into hockey, because I got him into it.
Yes.
About, let me find it. It was so funny. He, in one of the games, back in the 22-23 season, said, I'm glad they're giving jobs to all the blind people of America as refs for the game. And that has just lived in my head ever since.
Phil Fiance. That's a good one.
And that was, I think, his first, the 22-23 season was his first like full season watching.
Yeah.
Which, incredible season to watch, by the way.
Yes.
Which I think a lot of our fans, I think that season spoiled a lot of people because now they're like, oh, you lose a game and you suck. And it's like, we're not going to have that season again. It was record breaking for a reason. We broke records. That's very hard to do.
Yeah, for sure. There will never be another season like that.
No. If there is, it's not going to be for years.
No.
Like, it won't be anytime soon. It might not even be by us, but if anyone's going to do it, it's not going to be for years.
Yeah. Oh. Boston College. 1-0.
Oh.
To Pearl. I can't say his last name. To Gabe. Those two are going to be problems. Ugh.
I feel so bad when I can't say a player's name.
I saw this tweet from Overtime Chicks the other day that was like, take a shot every time I say a player's name wrong on the podcast today. And I was like, girlfriend, same.
When I was trying to do it, because I collected hockey cards, I still do. But as a kid, when I really only like watched the Bruins, because I was a kid, I didn't have social media. I wasn't following other teams. Yeah. And I just hand the cards to my parents being like, so who's this? Can you say the last name? I can't say it. I still do it occasionally now with my dad. I'll be like, so what's this guy's name? Because there's 5 letters here that do not look like they should be together. Mm-mm. I don't know how to say that. Please tell me because I don't want to butcher someone's name. Yeah. I think I would have died with how often I did that.
I try really hard to like listen to announcers during games, and I try really hard to like put it in my head. I can't.
I will write down how their name sounds just so I could say it correctly because I'm like, I feel bad. I feel so bad when I cannot say a name correctly.
Same. Well, that's like terrible though about the Vegas game. That's so annoying. Mm-hmm. It's annoying you consistently have stuff like that during a game too.
Yeah. What's also, they started the game on the right track.
Yeah.
And then the second was a bit weird where we kind of stepped back and Vegas stepped up. And then the third happened and Vegas was just, we were on the brakes and Vegas was hitting the gas and just going. Like,
yeah, literally a minute, 10 seconds left and they scored that goal.
Yeah.
Power
play. That was a weird penalty if I remember correctly. Because we had at least one weird penalty call that I was like, you sure?
Pastrnak cooking against Brett Howden.
Oh, yeah. I remember this because after the game, he gets out of the box and starts yapping at the ref about, like, I think it was all the missed calls that they did not call.
Oh, wait. That would have been after that goal. Pavel Zacha slashing against Dorofeyev was at 16:50. If the goal was at 18 something.
Oh, yeah. It would be the
Zacha would have been possibly 10 seconds after that goal then. That's crazy.
Yeah. Pasta's was those penalties in that game. I'm sorry.
I've seen the video of Pasta's. It was
the fact that we did not have a power play that period really confused me with a lot of stuff they did. I want to know how we didn't have a power play. I'm sorry.
The only penalties they got were roughing, fighting, and tripping. And we have roughing, fighting, tripping, roughing, slashing, and hooking.
We had, what was it? One power play all game, and it was for the trip.
Yeah.
Because the roughing and fight canceled each other out.
Yep.
We had one power play. They had 4. I'm sorry. Oh, the Beecher trip. That was another weird one.
I hate hockey.
I don't like complaining about refs, but sometimes I'm like, that's not. I was an official. For reference, I'm a timekeeper. Or I was. I'm not doing it right now. But I have done it since I was 14, maybe.
Sure.
I'm 20. I've been doing it for almost 10 years now. Yeah. I'm 23. I know the rules. A timekeeper, especially when you do like USA Hockey, they are an official. And then I did higher league levels as well.
Yeah.
I was so close to, I think, genuinely, because I worked at the sports center.
Sure.
And Providence played there during COVID. I think if I worked during COVID, I had a slight chance of working one of their games, and I'm so upset that I didn't.
That would have been so cool.
Mm-hmm. I would have loved it. But there are some things I question as an official who knows the rules. Mm-hmm. Like, this isn't the refs are being weird, it's because it's my team. No, I have studied these rules because I have to learn them, even though I'm just in the box and I don't enforce penalties, because we're at least allowed to talk to the refs if it looks like they're missing stuff.
Yeah.
And being like, hey, here's rules. So I know the rules like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
So if I complain, it's coming from an official standpoint, not really a fan standpoint. Occasionally, it will be a fan standpoint.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's official.
You're like, no, this is truly somebody being stupid.
Yeah.
XOXO. I say that with kindness and love.
I say that with kindness. I think I could do better than you.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like,
I think I know what goaltender interference is, and I wouldn't call someone getting hit in the head and then a puck going in a good goal. Just
no.
a thought. Just a
no.
thought. I wouldn't stare at that and be like, goal. That
like a plot line in Mighty Ducks in one of the movies too. Just saying. It's interesting. Well, we are in the break. We're in the break, and our team sucks.
They do.
We're not currently making the playoffs. But listen, we have 60 points with 57 games played. Blue Jackets have 60 points, so the same amount, with 56 games played, so one less. So they're technically sitting above us. Detroit Red Wings are in the second wild card spot with 61 points and 55 games played. And the Senators just got kicked out of their spot, and they're now sitting in wild card 1 with 62 points and 56 games played. So it's going to be a race. I mean, the next up from that is the third spot in the Atlantic is Tampa Bay Lightning, and they have 66 points. So a slight jump, but realistically, that's 3 games away. Theoretically, if the Lightning loses 3 games in a row and we were to win 3 games in a row by some miracle.
At least they're closer now in games as well, because before we used to be 4 games ahead of Tampa, and now we're only 2.
55 games now, yeah.
Yeah.
We're definitely on a much more even playing field. The Sabres still have 54 games, which is crazy. But they're bye. They're done for the season. They only have 49 points. There's no way.
No. Unless literally every team in the East
race. Yeah. It's a tight race. Sitting behind us is the Rangers with 58 points, 55 games played. Right behind them is the Islanders with 57 points, 55 games played.
I don't think they're going to do it.
Penguins and Flyers all have 55 points. So I don't
think that Islanders are too much of a threat, considering how they've been playing lately with a bunch of those own goals too.
Yeah.
So
also, Tony DeAngelo being on their team is so weird, but
karma for signing him, and he puts the goals into his own net. Karma.
It's just a weird situation, man. Why would you sign him? Why?
Especially because he left because he couldn't stay with the team. And then his contract, if I remember correctly, got terminated.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's back after he's had 2 contracts, I think, terminated in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
One he was in the Russian league, right?
Yes. He was somewhere, yeah.
Yeah.
NHL, maybe? I don't know. I don't know all the leagues. TBH.
Whatever league he was just in.
Somewhere else.
Terminated. So that's 3 terminated contracts.
Yeah.
And now he's back.
I thought it was really funny when that when that radio guy said something about like Marchie and Pasta being at each other's neck. Tony D'Angelo like tweeted something. He's a very active man on Twitter. If you do not follow him, I do not follow him, but he pops up on like for you stuff sometimes. He had tweeted about like how Marchie like is somebody you hate to play against, but he's like a guy but like you actually love in real life. And I was like, I don't know that I would want this man vouching for me personally. But okay.
He's not wrong, but not the right person to say it, especially when someone says you're not good at hockey and you immediately go after their looks and call them ugly. When all they did was pull up your stats.
Literally.
And I don't know. Those doesn't really correlate.
Ugh. But yeah, that's karma. That's karma. But I think the issue is the Rangers potentially have been picking up steam.
Yeah.
Everybody's picking up steam except for us.
Gosh, our goal differential -25. That is ugly.
That hurts.
That is so ugly.
The funny thing is, like, the people with 55 points, right? You have the Canadiens. They're at a -31 differential. Penguins are at -37, and Flyers are at -30. So that's who we're like. Our statistics align. Our statistic, I'm just going to say it. I don't want to say it. Bruins, why are you making me do this? Our statistics align with these teams that suck. I don't know, like, how we do this.
No.
I truly don't know. Like, I think I'm in the same boat as so many of us right now. I think most of us who are fans, yes, but are like analytical kinds of fans are in this boat where like, yes, you truly want to cheer for them, want them to make it to the playoffs because like you want this team to prove themselves. But at the same like time, you don't think it would necessarily be a bad thing for them to miss playoffs and like have to face the consequences of their own actions. I think a lot of us who are like analytical fans or like are people who have podcasts or like are in some sort of media are all kind of on this same page with this like dichotomy of thought here. But like when you look at statistics like that, like what a story it would be, but like I don't know how we overcome things like that because it's still like that consistency issue that we talked about last week. It's still like overcoming just like getting in our own way during these games. Like we truly, personal opinion, I don't think we've been outplayed by many teams this season. I think like we just are just not showing up to these games.
Or it's self-inflicted injuries. Our last two losses, we were winning in both of them. Like the Rangers game, I'm sorry, the 2 goals in 16 seconds. We used all of our luck in those 16 seconds. That was it. If they were scoring after that, it was over.
Yeah.
But it was just, we were winning. And then Vegas, we were winning 2-0. Okay, it becomes 2-1. We were winning 3-1. And then, I get it, we have a goal called back, but so do they. So,
yeah.
Still 5 for them, technically 4 for us. If you want to count the one scored, you can't be like, oh, it was 4-4. They have one called back. So did we. But we were winning.
Yeah.
Both games. And then we just kind of stopped. And I feel that's been an issue this season where they're winning. And then I feel like they get too comfortable with the fact that they have the lead. And then it goes away from them because they start making these mistakes.
Yeah. And we talked about this last week, right? Like you do not know who is showing up from period to period on this ice. I think both of those games show it. Like there's no reason we should have lost.
Yep.
I think even with our predictions last week, we both said that we were winning Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And then this, like,
yeah, I think we got the score for the Rangers game right. I think one of us got it. It was 3-2.
Yeah, I think we had both said that it was going to be like one goal away from each other last week.
Yeah, it was going to be a 2-1 or 3-2 game.
Yeah.
And I think we both said the Rangers too. I think we both said the Rangers.
Yeah. I don't remember. Because I was going back and forth on both against the Wild and with the Rangers. I was like, we could win or lose. I don't remember where I landed on either of those. But I know we both said win for Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And then we lost spectacularly. And it's...
Yeah. And that was a game that, like... Because it's all about breaks coming up. You want to prove that you want to stay in Boston if you want to stay in Boston and not be a team that's selling. They should have showed up for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
60. Not 40, not 45, not 50, 60.
Well, and we keep seeing it. It is always, not always. I have to stop like exaggerating like that. But so many times it's those last 2 minutes in a period in the game that all of a sudden, like, we're just like, okay.
We're done.
Bye. I'm like, oh. So glad that we had this experience together. So glad.
I think it would be more beneficial if we just took them all off the ice and just left it to the goalies.
Oh, like, for sure. At least they meant prepped that like nobody's in front of them. They're not going to be relying on people that like aren't
get the 5 skaters off the ice. Throw in whatever goalie is on the bench because they'll be ready to play compared to everyone else.
Yeah,
they can play those final 2 minutes.
That'll be great. It'd be a much better plan than what we're doing right now. Because I don't know what we're doing right now.
No, we're doing something. And then,
like, we all keep questioning why we haven't re-signed Geeky.
Yeah.
Or somebody else, Frederick. Somebody else has a contract coming up soon. Everybody's like, sign him.
Braz might be.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Let me find the cap space.
But then, like, we talk about all these games and like week to week. Like, listen. If I'm the GM, I'm also not signing any new contracts because that takes away my ability to utilize you for like easier trades. So I understand from like a business perspective why they haven't, but as a fan, it's frustrating because you do see great numbers from Geeky. He's been consistent. This line is producing. And then we get frustrated that they haven't signed. But like, listen, if I'm like on the business side of things, I'm also not because that takes away my ability to be able to trade these guys easier, which at this point is what we have to do. Like one way or another, whether you're prepping to trade and like try to make this season work or you're getting ready to trade for next season, they're getting traded. Like these guys are not, unfortunately, as much as we want them all to stay, like it does not work right now to keep these guys either for the rest of the season or next year, whichever way they decide to go, I think.
Or you can sign them for really cheap if you want to add incentive of like, hey, maybe you don't have to hash out however much they want. We signed him to like $2 million.
Yeah.
Get a first, take the player.
Yeah.
But there's a few. I know Marchand's up there, but he's end of the year, up to him if he's retiring or not.
Yeah, I think they're waiting to see that more so than anything.
Yeah.
Contracts.
Geeky's restricted. Same with Beecher.
Ooh.
And Lowry. They're all restricted.
Why did I thought Beach was unrestricted. That's interesting. I don't know why I thought that.
Wotherspoon's up at the end of the season, unrestricted. Same with Brazo and Kepke.
We have a lot more expiring than I thought. That's crazy.
Yeah. We have 6 forwards, 2 defensemen. And goalies we don't have to worry about for another 3 seasons.
That makes me even angrier. As a fan, it makes me angry. As, like a fan with an analytical brain, it makes me angry because it's like, why are you not playing for your life?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you not playing like this is it? Like,
right.
Really interesting.
I feel like some of the players are just kind of like Marchand's showing up. He has a game or two where he slips, but so does everyone. He's at the point where he's not going unless he wants to go or he wants to retire. He can kind of not get away with it, and there's no consequences.
Yeah. I think part of me is like, I wonder if he's just trying to see how many records he can break before he leaves. If like there's something like if it's a Gronk situation where it's like there's those incentives he's trying to reach before he retires, or like those goals he's trying to reach before he retires, or if he's just truly trying to like see how much longer his body can take him, because he already takes rest days like whenever he can, just because his body is tired, rightfully so.
He's on the older end of a hockey player's life too. Like, I know he's young, but for a hockey player, he's old.
Yeah, we were just talking about this right before we got on with like the Louis Eriksson news of him finally retiring. Like, he's 39, which yes is young, but like he's an older player. Like, I didn't even realize he was still playing overseas. I thought he had retired already. But like 39 is so old for a hockey player. Your body is so tired.
Mm-hmm. Especially with like the injuries they get all the time too, and like everything Marchand had to go through during the off season with his surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised he's slower.
Like, I say this about TJ Oshie all the time. Like, TJ Oshie is on LTIR for the year because of his back injuries, but like he said multiple times in interviews at the end of last year that he like could not get out of bed because of the pain in his back. Like, the fact that he ever got on the ice is actually insane last year because he was in constantly so much pain.
Or like Bergeron after the 2013 playoffs with the punctured lung.
Yeah.
Like, how'd you play through that? And how'd you play again the following season? Like, I'd be dead.
Insane.
I think I would be dead.
Well, and I'm so glad, like, Tyler Seguin, like, people gave him so much crap in December when he decided to go get surgery on his hip and, like, take, it's like 6 months he's out for. He'll essentially miss the rest of the season. But people gave him so much crap for, like, going and getting that done. Listen, if you guys want these players to be around longer, it's something they have to do. Like, their bodies cannot take this. Like, just imagine, like, at your everyday job, if you're somebody that uses a computer and like both of your arms are broken and you're having to like type like this every day, like, imagine having that be your everyday consistently times 10 because you're constantly moving and like your body has to be active at work. Like, it's crazy to me that they do this stuff.
And like everyone being like, oh, just wait for the off season. Okay, so then you make the playoffs, right? Now you have a shorter off season. Now you have more games to play. Like, sure, you want to go to the finals, but God forbid you go to the finals with all these injuries. You're already injured somewhere. You're just going to get more injuries because of it.
Yeah.
It's just going to build up to the point where you're going to be out for like the next 2 seasons.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend whose significant other works in football. And their team has been out for a while because of playoffs and whatever. But like, now that the season is done, I was like, what does their like off season look like? And they're like, oh, it's pretty light. Like, they don't have to do anything until June when they have to report to training camp. Like, yeah, they have like mini camp between now and then. They have some like PR things they have to do, but realistically, like, the players are gone until June. I'm like, oh, that's pretty crazy, because in hockey, yes, your team may be done in April.
April, yeah.
But like,
you could be done in May.
You could be done in May.
You could be done in June if every game goes to a game 7. Like every series.
But then the draft. Oh, that's what she said. The draft. They have a draft, but then other than the draft, they have nothing until June. I'm like, oh, well, in hockey, we've got the draft here in end of June, early July, and then we're back
to agency.
Like, we don't have that long time span of 6 months almost, essentially off of work.
Mm-hmm.
You get 4, and
if you're lucky,
2 and 4 months off, and then you're back at it playing 80 games. It's actually crazy.
It's insane. There should be more stuff for them to like get these surgeries and just help with the issues. And there shouldn't be. I say this as someone who has said this before. Like, I have called soccer players wimps occasionally when you see them like someone slightly taps their shoulder and they throw themselves at the ground. I'm like,
yes,
okay, maybe don't do that. But I also think hockey players are a bit insane with what they put their bodies through. Like a punctured lung. I'm sorry. I know it doesn't change the outcome. We lost that game. But still, like, I don't think you should play if you have a punctured lung. There are certain injuries where I think it's too far, and because there's this thing of hockey players are so tough, they're just going to play through it. And I think you have to hit a point where you're like, you cannot play through this.
Yeah.
And I think that needs to become a thing.
For 100%. Even Pasta last season, after he got done with us and he went to Worlds, and then after Worlds, he was like, yeah, I had a few injuries, and I just kept playing through them. I'm like,
why?
Bro. It's not worth it.
No.
I will say this for the rest of my life. It is not worth it. It is a game. I understand that they get paid to play this game, words. But it's just a game.
Yeah.
It is not going to cure cancer. You are not going to change laws with this game. You bring people joy. You bring people happiness. You bring us fear and chaos and anger and sadness as well. But like, the world is not going to stop if sports fall off the face of the earth. Like, it's not going to. It's a game. Your life, your health, and your body are not worth it. Like, especially these guys that have kids. Like,
yeah,
be healthy for them. That is what matters at the end of the day.
Like, I get it. You're hopefully having fun while playing hockey.
Yes.
But no one wants to sit out for an entire season because they're injured and cannot play. And then you have to watch everyone, all of your friends, all of your teammates play without you. And you're just sitting there being like, oh, I think there needs to be a point where they just stop and understand they're injured and just take a few days off, figure out what it is, see if you need surgery, and do that instead of risking being out for a whole 82 games.
Literally.
And playoffs, because some players get ruled out for playoffs too.
Yeah. You know what I did not realize? That their oh, I have to sneeze. Their contracts don't cover playoffs. Like, they get bonuses.
Yeah.
That pay them for playoffs, but like, they don't get paid their regular salary at all.
No, they don't.
Once the regular season's done, like, that's the end of their contract. I did not realize that.
Which also begs the question of, why are you then putting your body through torture and hell for not even your contract, just a bonus?
Yeah.
Like,
it's / like, could my job do that? I get it. Maybe I could do that. Give me a little bit more money. I'll put my life on the line for like an hour.
Yeah.
I work a nonprofit. That's not a thing. But yeah, it's actually insane. I think this break is much needed for the Bruins right now.
Yep.
But I say that, but then every time we take a few days off, we come back and we suck more. So
maybe they need it. because you have the 4 guys who are playing. Maybe they'll get insights on how other teams are doing and figure out how to work as a team. I'm not saying they don't know how to work as a team, but maybe
I don't know how to work as a team. If you won't, I will.
Well, I'm not going to put Sway in that group. He's a goalie. He's doing everything he can.
That's
and
true.
Marchand a bit, that's a captain. I feel like he somewhat knows what he's doing, hopefully, being in the league as long as he's been.
You guys, look at these pictures of each of them, though. They're so happy.
The Marchand one, he looks so happy and excited to be there. Like, look at him. Look at that face.
I feel like this is a troublesome duo if I've ever seen it.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be chaos.
He's going to come back to the team with all these things from Jarvis because Jarvis is, how old? He's young. I know that.
Yeah. I bet you he comes back with all these new practical jokes between Crosby and Jarvis. He's going to come back with a whole set of new jokes on everything.
Jarvis is 23.
That's crazy.
That's a whole different generation between the two.
Yes.
Marchand's going to come back trying to act young with everyone, and they're just going to be like, who the heck is this guy?
Literally. Maybe it'll rejuvenate him a little bit.
Maybe. You know what? It could be good for him.
They just look so happy.
They do.
Which I know this is like a little bit of like more carefree for them too. But I also wanted to show, sorry, I did not intend on scrolling while still screen sharing. Here we are. It's just easier this way, guys.
It is.
Sway's helmet is actually so freaking cool.
Have you seen Allmark's helmet?
Yes, I just saw it earlier today.
It's insane. Some of the helmets for it are just insane.
I think it's the same guy that usually does Ollie's and Sway's helmets.
I think so.
Follow him on TikTok and watch him do like the videos of them. They're really cool.
Mm-hmm. I love the helmets.
Helmet.
I love what the goalies come up with to put on their helmets too.
It's so cool.
Like they have their own personality in it. And
yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Why? Why do you not want? I don't care about the Air Force's helmets from. Okay, this is not Sway's. This is Helmet. Oh, this is all 3 USA goalies. Here we go.
Oh, it's all of them.
Let's talk some 4 nations for a little bit, friends. Yeah. This one's Sway's.
I love it.
I like the I also live near Pensacola, so like the Blue Angels are out of Pensacola, so I love that. And then
I love the otter. I love how he incorporated
the little baby otter on his pads too. His set is really cool.
I love how it matches. I know he's not on the Rangers, but if he was on the Rangers, that's also such a good helmet to use for them.
Yes. And I love the eagle. This one is so different, I feel like, than everybody else's. Like
it's so detailed. Like all the little bits in it too.
Yeah. These are really cool. None of them have like sets that I'm like, oh, this entire set is the coolest set ever. But they're cute. Olmark's set is pretty cool though.
I love his. I think I like the ones for Sweden are I like them.
Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Okay, this one is Samuel Erson's.
I love that one.
It's so different.
Like the drip, I love that effect.
I love it. It's so cool. Gus's. I think this one I love because to me it's like slightly more like traditional.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm trying to find what is it? We were looking at the helmets earlier, me and my fiance, and he thought that one, if you look at the top view of it, looks like a duck. If you look at it the right way, and I'm trying to find it.
I'll have to find a different angle.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know which way he was looking at it, but this, insane.
This is whoever, does it say who did it? Dave Art.
Yep. That one's just...
Oh, it won't zoom. But that is so insane. All the details that are in it are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go. Team Finland is the next tweet. Let's go. I haven't seen these ones yet. This is so cool.
It's so pretty. It's different too, I feel like.
I love. Ooh.
I like that one. Oh, the next one, I think. That one's just...
This to me is very reminiscent of Rask's.
Mm-hmm.
With the bear.
Yeah.
It's my favorite Rask.
So, like, I know it's simple compared to the others, but it's so detailed and just like...
It is.
The shading in it too. I'm an artist. I'm going to put that out there real quick. I like to draw, so I am the shading and stuff, it's just...
Yeah.
I love it.
And then Canada. Oh, Canada.
I like that one. It has all the different symbols to Canada in it.
This is so sick.
I like the wall too, kind of being in there.
Yeah. This one Aiden's, I assume. It's the first one. I really love that. Ooh. Don't love the guy, but like his helmet.
I agree.
That's sick. Oh yeah, this one's by Dave Art too. Dave Art is really like
so many of them. He did all of Finland. I love the little like animated the goalie and everything on it.
That's so cool. I'm obsessed. I love looking at helmets. They're so cool.
I love the personality that you get out of each goalie in the helmets too.
Yeah. You never know what you're gonna get.
No. All you know with that one is you get an otter.
Gotta go back to otters. It's just so freaking cool.
I love it. I think it's honestly, his might be one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But I think it just has to do with like matching the nickname.
Yeah.
And it's fully showing him while also supporting the country. And I think it's cute.
Yeah. What are our predictions for Four Nations? Since that we don't have games for the next 2 weeks. So what are our I truly don't know. Like
the amount of players that are suddenly no longer in it.
Yes.
The new players that are coming in. I don't know anymore. Like Quinn Hughes isn't in it.
No, I just saw that today that I didn't realize that Jack was in. And I saw like somebody post something about him being in, and I was like, this is what happens when you're out of it for like an entire 10 days. I have no idea what's happening anymore.
Like Crosby, I don't remember if he's fully out or if it was like
he might not on Wednesday. He said in the press today, he said that he'll be in the game on Wednesday.
Yeah, it was a whole maybe if he was playing. So I'm like,
yeah,
I have no idea what these rosters are anymore. They've come together and then all of a sudden they've kind of blown up.
Yeah.
So
I truly don't know. Martian, I'm just so thrilled to be part of the team. I don't care if I fill water bottles the whole tournament. I'm just so happy to be here.
I'm going to pick Canada just for that.
I love him. Oh my God, I'm tearing up. I love him so much. I'm not going to cry.
I feel like he's very humble. Like, I don't think he's really processing, like, he's talented. Like, dude.
Yes.
You were selected because you're good at the game. Because you're also a leader.
People love to hate this man, but he is an asset for any team he is on.
Mm-hmm.
The voice he has for the team, like the leadership he brings to any locker room, just
how quickly he is to stand up for others too.
Yes.
Like, amazing friend, amazing teammate. Sure, you're gonna hate playing against him, especially when he was, you know, doing all of his little antics back in the day.
Yeah.
I want to know what made him decide to lick people. That's my question for him. What intrusive thought did you get that you decided, yeah, I'm just gonna lick this guy, and then continued to do it?
Truly, my husband is also a fairly new like hockey fan. He started going to games with me when we started dating a few years ago, but probably the last year or so he's really gotten into hockey. And just recently found out, like probably the beginning of this season, just found out about the Marchand licking. He was like, "That's not real." I'm like, "Yeah." I was like,
Yes.
just go Google Marchand licking hockey. And he was like, "This isn't this. No." I'm like, bro did it. I don't know what to tell you. Bro did it
4 times, right? 4.
Yeah.
And then he stopped because he got warned that he would be suspended if he did it again.
Yeah, they told him that they were going to start fining him or something.
It took them 4 times for him to do it before they're like, okay, we got to put our foot down. Like, they were okay the first 3. The 4th one crossed the line. Like, why 4?
No idea. It's so funny.
It's
one of those like parts of the lore that you're just like, you had to be there.
You had to be there. You had to be there for putting Garden Ice in Vancouver.
Yes.
You had to be there for their riot. You had to be there for the trip that didn't get called.
Oh, yes.
For the series against, I think it was also 2019, against Toronto in the first round that then set up like 10 different rules the following season, plus the hit from Krug during the finals that led to the helmet rule.
Choking Freddie almost to death.
I'm sorry. I'm still going to go. The fact that wasn't called or fined, like, and he's literally like, yeah, I started blacking out, and they're like, that's fine. You can do that.
Yes. Like, all these people are like, why do people go so hard for him? I'm like, have you seen what this kid has had to face in his career? And he's only been in the NHL for what, 4 years? Dude's already, anyway.
I just
digress.
The Florida Panthers, I want to know what they pay the refs sometimes for some of those things to not be called. Like, or not even get a fine out of that. Like, we were taking head contact out of the league. Like, they're trying to do that. So how is choking okay? Like, and it's not like, oh, he just put his hand there. It was a full on, he was actively choking a guy who started blacking out. Which is not okay. This isn't wrestling. And even in wrestling, that's not okay. That's okay nowhere. You can't just choke a guy.
It's the Panthers. So we're just gonna...
They're blind when it comes to the Panthers.
I can't. With that, Marchand has to play with a bunch of them. I don't know who could win this because I feel like these 4 teams are so incredibly talented. Stuff like this, like the Olympics, I feel like is going to be really intense next year. But I feel like, to me, this is just like a fun little tournament. Like, it's kind of like All-Stars, but different. Like, to me, it's still has All-Star energy of like, it just feels like a fun little tournament versus like, I know the Olympics are going to be insane next year and they're really intense and there's like a different vibe. But like, personally, this still has like All-Star, like bubbly, happy energy.
We're here for fun. We're not here. I would be surprised if any of the games turned like physical in the sense of like not dirty hits, but bigger hits that you wouldn't do. Like, I could see maybe a fight for fun.
Yeah.
But not like a whole, you know.
I can see USA and Canada getting a little chippy. Like, that game's going to be a little. But not. It's also half the same team on each one.
Sway's going to get his first fight, and it's going to be against Marchand.
Let's go. I would love that. I think they would love that, too. That would be funny.
Mm-hmm. That clip of Frederick giving him fighting lessons at practice last season, I love that clip.
It's so funny. I love this team. I hate them as well, but I love them.
I love them, and I love their friendships, and I'm going to be sad when we inevitably get rid of half of these guys this season, because I think they're going to sell, but I don't think they're going to sell. They're going to be an in-between. They're going to half sell and half, like, keep the players that they maybe shouldn't keep.
I truly don't think they're gonna like try to make a run for the cup.
No.
I think if it happens, it happens, but I think they're gonna start retooling for next year.
I think they're gonna try to
gotten any of these guys signed back yet.
I think it's gonna be a partial bridge year again, because I don't think they're ready to accept that we're no longer a playoff team.
No.
I think, especially because it's so close in the East right now and we could potentially sneak in.
Yeah.
I think we have to be so far down in the standings for them to be like, okay, we should rebuild.
Do you think if they miss the playoffs, it's a wake-up call to the owners for
I feel like it depends.
Changes?
I think if they just miss it by like a point or two, like they're just out by a game, they're going to keep it with it. They're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
But I think if there's space, like at least 2 teams above them before you even get to the wild card, then I think maybe they'll do something. But also, they love Sweeney, so.
Yeah. What do you think they do about coaching next year?
I don't know.
Me either.
He's starting to grow on me.
Bring in.
I had my opinions on him because I'm like, he's been an assistant coach here forever, so he does know the system.
Yeah.
But he never showed emotion, and that's always bugged me in a coach. Like, you don't want a guy who's always yelling, but you don't want a guy who has no reaction. Like, you need reactions to things. And then last game, especially with some of the penalties and then the interference, he started reacting. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of okay with you now because you're no longer just, okay, that happened.
Yeah.
Cool, that happened.
Yeah.
He's reacting and fighting for the team, and I think that's important in a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I was more so on he's not going to be the head coach next year. We're going to get someone else. But now I'm like, maybe he can stay.
That's in me as well. Is like my opinion is that it has depended on whether or not we make the playoffs, is whether or not he gets to keep his job. But now I'm like, I don't know. It also kind of, to me, depends on like what they decide to do with all of these guys.
Yeah.
Does that coaching style now match the team that you've built with potential trades too?
Mm-hmm. I think, because I know there's rumors that there's going to be trades during the Four Nations.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how I feel about that. I think with the week off, you should just kind of let them be and maybe at least talk to the other GMs and be like, okay, here's the plan, but we won't do it until after break.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let them enjoy their break. Most of them aren't even here.
Yeah.
They're like in other countries. They're on vacation.
Can you imagine if you're in Four Nations and you get the call and you're like, by the way, you're not going back. You're going somewhere else after you're done playing for your country.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think you wait. They can prepare the trades during the break. Yeah. But I don't think the trades happen until it's over.
Yeah.
But I definitely think before the trade deadline, Frederick's going to be gone. As much as I hate to say it, he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
We signed Kastelik. We haven't signed anyone else. And it makes sense why they've kept him, because you do want that guy who plays middle six to be with your young talents who are getting into the league so they don't get bullied.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be gone. And I think for guys without contracts, at least, Brazo is going to be gone too.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
I think we're still going to have Geeky. I just don't know if we're going to sign him.
Doing too well to not keep him.
I think the reason he hasn't been signed is because he's restricted. He's the safer bet to keep. He's restricted. We still have rights.
That's a great point.
So,
as opposed to these unrestricted guys, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they can go anywhere else immediately. Geeky, we have a bit of talking time with him.
Yeah, so that's a great point. I hadn't considered that yet.
I think Frederick's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Brazo's going to be gone. I don't know who they'd get rid of, though, if they do someone with the contract. Because it's not going to be Castellic. Just something.
That's my thing, too, is like, maybe somebody on D, but like, who are you going to get rid of? Mason?
He's restricted too.
Yeah, like I don't know who we would truly trade. Let me tell you, if we trade Mason, I will be coming on here raising fire. Like, so this is my little dumpster fire guy.
I love him.
This is the Bruins. No, but like I will be raising holy hell if we trade somebody. This would be less of your concerns, folks. I could see like maybe, but I don't know who would trade. I could see us getting new blood in the D, maybe, but that means we have to have like Mason.
Carlo would have to be the other option.
Carlo, yeah. Those are the only two. I don't see us getting rid of Z. We're not going.
We can't. We can't move Charlie.
Campus is staying.
You're not Zadorov. I don't even think we can move him right now.
I don't think we can either.
So
who? Oh, Wallstrom.
I don't think they're going to get rid of him so soon because they did take him on waivers.
I would love to see him go down to the AHL though and get some time.
That's if he can make it down.
Good point. He would probably get picked up.
I think he needs. It's weird because he keeps coming in and out of the lineup, and he was sick.
Oh, yeah.
So that did take him out for a bit, but I don't know. I feel
we just got him, so you're right. I can't see us, like, I don't think that's, like, the Bruins' way to get somebody and, like, trade them within their first year.
No.
So I can't see him leaving. But, like, I guess that leaves Carlo and Mason.
Yeah, because who else do we have for Peak? That's who it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him going. Witherspoon, maybe because he's unrestricted.
Yeah.
But I don't know who's going to want Carlo. He's not bad. He's a great defenseman. I don't think you get rid of him. I think getting rid of him is a mistake.
I do too.
But
I mean, another one with a great voice, like, in the room.
Yeah. He's good for leadership.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since Lindholm got injured and he's been having inconsistent line mates, he's looked funky, like on and off.
I'll be interested to see when he comes back, like when Hampus comes back, like how much that changes what our defense looks like.
I think it'll help Carlo, honestly, because then you have a guy you've played with for years. You have that consistency of he's always your partner because Callahan and Witherspoon have just been swapping in with Carlo. It's consistent for a few games, but then he gets a new friend.
Yeah. I'm excited to have him back. I think it'll be good.
So I don't think teams will want him because of that consistency thing, maybe, but I feel like they're also going to want him because he's good and has leadership.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. When did we say the deadline is? Like March 5th?
I think it's the 7th because it's Friday.
Oh, that's right.
At 3 o'clock, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever time?
It's at 3. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, I guess we'll find out one way or another.
Just over 3 weeks.
Yep. Oh, let me check the BCBU score real quick. And then I think it's still 1-0. Oh no, it's tied 1-1.
Ooh. Nice.
In Sabota. Oh no, wait. Will Hudson. Will Hudson. Oh man, 1-1.
It's going to be a good game.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Did they score again? Did they just score again?
Ooh.
My Twitter isn't loading fast enough. TSN is reading faster than everybody else is. Ooh. Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. BU 2-1.
Nice. Honestly, they are the underdog.
Truly, I expected BC to take this one.
Mm-hmm. BC was first. BU was the 8th seed.
Mm-hmm.
I think they might do it. Because they weren't supposed to win last game.
Mm-mm.
But they did. I feel like they're the true underdog of this.
I'm all for that. After last night's game, last night's Super Bowl, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Will Smith is in fact, is Will Smith's story right now. He is in fact at the Bean Pot. That's so funny.
I'm curious how many players are like actually at it.
I don't know. I'm sure we'll see over the next few days on their socials.
Oh, 100%. I'm curious how many Bruins are at it.
I know. They all probably went to warmer weather. They all probably fled.
Yeah, true. They're like, Garden again, but we're not playing. Maybe I'll go.
Oh, now there's a penalty. Somebody got a penalty. Oh, God, the thing is heating up. I can't keep up fast enough. All right. Anything else for today?
I don't know. I think or who do you think is going to be gone for trade by the trade deadline?
I don't know. I really think I think Freddie is going to be gone. I think maybe Braz is going to be gone too. I think they're the only ones that we like get return on.
Mm-hmm.
That like they haven't been playing terribly, but they also haven't been playing and contributing great. Which I hate that for Braz because like
yeah,
I would love for both of them to stay. I think they're both like integral to the Bruins culture currently.
And they've both been with the Bruins their entire careers.
Yeah.
Right? Braz has?
I think so.
I can't remember if he has, actually.
Oh, no. Maple Leafs? He was undrafted. I didn't realize that. Oh, no. Bruins. Yeah. Bruins.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was undrafted. That's cool. I hate that for players, though. Like, I would love for them all to stay here forever and ever.
I know.
But I think one of them gets traded, or who else? think that's really all I can see moving right now.
Yeah. There's a lot of forwards that are just untouchable.
Yeah.
Or if you move them, it's limited, but it's just really hard to find other guys that you're like, oh, maybe them. Because it has to be very specific teams.
Yeah. I saw that one of our scouts was at Utah's game last week. Utah against Blue Jackets, maybe? I don't remember, but one of Utah's games. Like, yeah. I truly don't even know who we would be asking for in return either, though.
Yeah.
Like, I'm also not good with, like, assessing all of the trade stuff. It makes my head hurt. But, like, I don't even know who – there's nobody that stands out, like, as a player that I'm like, yes, they would just bring Maroon, Pat Maroon. Bring me Pat Maroon? Yes, any day of the week.
Yeah.
However, there's no, like, players that stand out in my mind that I'm like, if we could trade for them and bring them, that would be the deal maker that, like, changes this season around, that changes this team around. There have been times in the past where I'm like, yes, this makes sense. Like, Pat Maroon, I will be the first one to admit I did not want him to come last year, but he was a game changer as soon as he was in that room.
Hathaway, when we got him.
What's that?
When we got Hathaway. Like, I know that was the big season. Orlov, super excited about. But I'm like, Hathaway and Bert.
Yeah.
I was like, these are guys that have, like, I've hated, but I'll take them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say now, I know people are a fan of Bert and they want him back on the Bruins. No. Especially after last year's playoffs where they're all mic'd up and they're yapping at him and they're like, you're stupid and an idiot. I don't think bringing him back would do any good.
No, there would not be good vibes hanging out in that room.
I feel like he played tougher and more physical and slightly more dirty against the Bruins after leaving them, that it's like
you could tell, like, him back angry.
Like,
yeah.
It would not be smart to bring him back.
There are no players that I'm like, this solves the problem.
Maybe
the problem is not solvable. It is their own, like, it is their own selves.
Yeah.
Problem. There's not one thing that I can point out to be like, yes, this is going to make the Bruins Stanley Cup champions in the months.
Because I was like, initially, it's like, okay, we need a top 6 winger now to replace DeBrusk. Geeky, like, he filled that. I know he's not a typical top 6 winger, but him and Pasternak have been making things work. Pasta for Hart, because with what he's been doing and the 13-game point streak, and the fact that he's helped make Geeky look the way Geeky is right now.
Yeah. This is one of those ones that I'm like, it'd be easier if we sucked. Like, if we actually truly, to our core, straight out sucked. And, like, there were players that were not living up to their potential. I think you see that a little bit with Freddie and a little bit with Braz. But, like, at the same time, it's not that our players suck. It's that they're not consistent. They're not showing up. They're not playing a full 60. So, like, I don't know who I would trade to fix the issue because it's every player.
And then if Frederick didn't set records last season, I'd be like, okay. Back at, 8 goals, 7 points, or 7 assists for 15 points. That would make sense with his previous stuff because a lot of people compare their stats to the 22-23 season. I don't think that's realistic to compare it to.
Yeah.
Especially because that was such a record-breaking season. I don't think stats get compared to that one. But he broke it all last year. That it's like, you need to do more.
I think we see that with Pasta, too. Like, Pasta had an insane last year. So everybody's like, oh, well, he sucks this year.
He's still, I'm sorry.
He's doing great. Has he had a little valley there in December? Yes. Otherwise, he's been actually insane still. He just hit so many milestones last year that it's like trying to do it 2 years in a row is crazy.
Yeah. And like, sure, he has 28 goals, which in his last 3 seasons looks weird.
Mm-hmm.
But he's at 40 assists. And he doesn't have a true wing, like top 6 winger.
Yeah.
Because for a while it was just kind of bland, and now Geeky's going, which is helping the line. It's helping the team. So he has that again, but for a while it was just trying to find the guy that would work on that line.
Yeah. Well, and then he keeps ending up on the ice with Maddie, and like that's working really well.
But yeah.
Like
then
Pasta is making playmakers. Like that's the only way I can think to say it. But like he is truly elevating these guys that are on the ice with him.
Yeah.
But then it's really cool to see too.
If you put them together, what are the lines like after that? Do you keep Zaka with him? Do you keep Geeky with them? Does Zaka then go to the third line or Geeky to the third line? Geeky to the third line, I think, could work. Him and Freddie have played well together. But it's still like, how do you balance
that? Third line, unfortunately, keeps getting the short stick, which sucks.
They keep having the guy come in and out, and it's just, there's no, everyone's been at every position on that line.
Yeah.
It's slowly driving me insane. I'm sorry. They're not going to be able to do anything.
It's crazy. And I really liked when Maddie was up on the first line.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked when he was playing up there. I just don't know. But like I also really liked the Coyle, Lindy, Marchie line. I think they jam well together.
I think that's the only line Lindholm works on.
Yes.
He was brought in, and it was him and Pasta with Zaka. They tried for the longest time.
They did.
They do not work, and that was what everyone thought was going to work. And they're like, he's here for Pasta. That's the only line that works. But
Can you also imagine having that expectation put on you as soon as you walk in the door?
Yeah.
You are playing with this guy, and that's it. Make it work.
You're here. He needed a center. We brought you in for him. Do your job. They don't know if they actually had chemistry. Like, they have a bit of it, but not. It's not good enough.
Seen with Geeky in there. Like I want more. This is my other thing is Maddie is such a young player that he also has time.
Yeah.
He has the talent to be top 6, but he also has the time to hang out in the middle and bottom a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Like
you have the tough physical guys around you who are also there, so if someone hits you, you don't have Zaka going in for his second fight. I will praise him for that when he went up for Pasta last season.
Yeah.
But he should, and I get it, if that's your line, you do need someone to go in, but he should not be your guy protecting a young talent at the moment.
Mm-mm.
It needs to be Freddie, Kastelik.
Yeah. This trade season is going to be real interesting with 27 days. Can't believe we're almost there. God, the season's going by fast. We need to see for the next 27 days.
I mean, we only have 25 games left.
Oh. Okay, yep. Did you see my brain just explode?
Yeah. 25 games. If we won,
my brain just actually exploded with that. Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm curious what they actually look like real quick. 1 minute. I want to know how many are back-to-backs? Because I feel like we're going to have at least 5 of them, so 10 games. Let's see. We have no more this month. Oh, do we not have any? Because that's Thursday. Do we not have a single back-to-back? Oh, no, there's one. 22nd, 23rd. Those are at such evil times. And then the 5th and 6th.
So that's 2 more. That's not bad.
No.
Everybody else has to have a solid amount coming up.
Normally, we get screwed over at the end of the season with like 12 back-to-backs in the final months. That it's just...
The Sabres have to have a lot coming up because they only have 54 games in. And we're at 57. I can only imagine their schedule. Oh. We have a lot of random games coming up, too.
Yeah.
The Ducks, Nashville. The Carolina one's going to hurt. San Jose, the Kings, Ducks, New Jersey. Oh, we still play New Jersey 2 more times. And we see the Penguins twice, too.
Buffalo has 5 back-to-backs.
Oh, that hurts. That is rough in the last 2 months of your season.
I'm sorry. How is that? So on the 5th of April, they play Tampa at 7. The following day, they play us at 6. How? What? That's less than 24.
Oh, we do the same thing.
I'm sorry.
We have the Hurricane at 7 on the 5th, and then we have... Were you talking about us or about the Sabres?
The Sabres, but we do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Same times. We also do it in
March.
On the 22nd, we play at 10:30. On the 23rd, we play at 9.
How is that legal?
Like, if it's a back-to-back, it needs to be 24 hours between the games or longer if there's travel. There's no travel, at least with the first back-to-back. But still, like, that's an hour and a half difference.
Gary Bettman, I would like to make a new rule before you leave.
We travel. We travel for the back-to-back in April. We're home on Saturday, and then we have to go to Buffalo for Sunday.
That's like, do we take a plane or a bus there? That's like an 8-hour car ride.
It's a plane, but still, that's just... It's 23 hours.
It's still a pain in the butt. Listen, nobody wants to go to Buffalo, okay?
We're not winning that game.
Nobody wants to go there.
I'm going to call it now. We're not winning that game.
No.
But also, historically, if we have to travel and there's less than 24 hours between games, even in past seasons, we don't win unless, like, the other team sucks. So...
Oh, well...
We have a lot of East teams.
It's going to be a dash to the finish for sure.
I think what helps is we play a lot of East teams because we have Toronto, the Islanders, Penguins, Carolina, Tampa a few times, Florida. We play Ottawa. That's a must-win game.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit is a must-win game. We play the Devils twice. Washington. We play... Honestly, we just need to beat the teams in the East, which is a majority of the schedule, so...
It's going to be rough.
Yeah.
Like, we basically do not have room to not win for the rest of the season.
Especially against the other wildcard teams.
Mm-hmm.
Even Tampa, I'll count in. You need a win against Tampa. You need a win against the wildcard teams right now. Maybe you can get away with losing to Washington, but you need a win, and then we're going to have to start rooting for other teams to win.
Yeah.
The last time this happened was... Let me pull it up, because I used to write notes on all the birthday games I would go to, and I have one from the last time this happened, because it was when Claude Julien was still our coach.
Huh, I miss him.
It was... the 15-16 season. We missed the playoffs that year. We lost 6-1. Detroit lost, which we needed, but then we needed the Flyers to lose because we lost. We needed that win.
Yeah.
They didn't. We didn't make the playoffs. I literally ended it with saying, "Let me just say bye-bye, Claude." I was judging them in this. How old was I? I was 14, and I was judging the crap out of the Bruins.
That's amazing. I'm obsessed. That's so
because we were winning 1-0, and then the second period it became 4-1 Ottawa, and then the third was 6-1 because we pulled the goalie on a power play, so we let in 2 empty nets, and I wrote that it was really stupid to pull the goalie on a power play. So apparently we're going back to the 15-16 season of we can't score with an extra person.
Yep.
Or with the goalie pulled. We just that was a 6-on-4. We let in an empty net. Like
that sounds that sounds like us.
That sounds like right now.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
You would think with it being like, I know last season we celebrated the centennial and called it the centennial season, but with this being the actual centennial centennial game, how are we not doing better? How do we not have pride of like, oh, we want to start off this new centennial on a good note and not, we're maybe going to try for a playoff spot?
I think part of it is like, do you have guys bought into the culture?
Yeah.
And like the history of it versus like guys that are just playing for your team.
Because I feel like we actually saw that for the centennial game.
Yeah.
There were a few bumps in there, which we've seen all season. Some games worse than others, but we saw it there.
Yeah.
And we see it in these few games, and then it just disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inconsistency. It will be the death of this team.
Mm-hmm.
Quite literally, we will trade you all out, and this team will no longer exist.
If we can.
Oh.
Keyword if, because those contracts.
It's so interesting that like all these teams keep doing that to themselves and then complaining about it with like, oh, well, we don't have any room to move anybody. Well, you did it to yourselves.
You handed them out. Like, it's one thing if you trade for the guy and he already has it in his contract.
Yeah.
It's another when you give it to him. You can maybe complain if you're like, oh, we took, I don't know, Ovechkin, because we're never going to get him. He's going to stay with Washington. And he has it in his thing, and you're like, oh, we don't want him anymore. Oh, but we can't move him. That's one thing if you're getting a guy and you don't know. But you should do your research.
For sure. You would think.
And sometimes I feel like they do, and then they just go downhill, like Bacchus when we had him.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that final season. He just was not the same player. Mm-hmm. And you would think he'd be good, but he wasn't.
Yes. He's one that I always forget that we had. That sounds terrible. But I would not ever associate him with the Bruins for some reason.
Well, he was with St. Louis I'm looking this up. He was with St. Louis for forever.
Yeah.
We had him on the team when we had like 5 Davids.
Oh my God, yes. I forgot about
he was with St. Louis from 06-07 up until the 15-16 was his last season with them. And then we took him in 16-17 up until the 19-20 season when we traded him to Anaheim. And then he finished his last 2 seasons with the Ducks.
That's crazy.
But he's always someone.
He was a Bruin, truly.
I only remember him because of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So real.
Yeah,
and I feel bad.
He was there. Mm-hmm.
Well, he did have his first 2 seasons. He was fantastic. And then whatever happened in the playoffs in the 18-19 season, just
That's funny.
It was not right.
No.
Something just kind of fell off.
I don't know if y'all heard that. That was a weird noise. I don't know where that came from. It seems that happens consistently with Bruins players. All of a sudden,
Yeah, like Rick Nash.
Mm-hmm.
That happened to him. Great player. We traded a lot for him, which with how he eventually ended up playing.
Yeah.
Just felt like a huge overpay.
Yeah.
But he was a great player. It just, some players don't fit in with the culture, and sometimes it's not even the culture, it's just the playing style.
Yeah, and it's like, so specific. Boston is so, like, plays one game of hockey.
We saw that with Sagan. He worked for a bit, but then our playing style just stayed the same, and he started trying to go in a different way, and we traded him, and while it sucked, it made sense because he couldn't play the style of hockey we were playing.
Yeah. He's one player that, like, I would also love to have back, but I know it doesn't work.
No.
But, like, if we were to ever be able to get him back, I would love to have him back. But it just...
I feel like he has a toxic relationship with the style.
Yes.
Not the Bruins, but more so with the style of play. That it would just be like, you'd have some really good games, and then you'd have some really bad games.
Yeah. I also just wonder if it was a coaching thing, too, part of it. Because he, like, it was almost like he was, like, a rebellious teenager sometimes with some of his
answers. He did have the breakfast. The missed breakfast.
Yeah. But he does so well with the Stars.
Yeah. But they also have a different playing style.
Yeah.
Some teams are similar, some are different. And if you just don't fit in with the play style, you can't really fault the player. You can't fault the team because you're not going to swap your entire style for one person.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the hard thing with trades is you never know who's going to fit in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like you get these guys right from college. You put them right in. Like, Dean Letourneau, I think I just saw a lot of discourse about him this week about he's going to be a long-term project, and he is. But I think that's also really good for the Bruins because you can make him a Bruin through and through. And I think especially being in Boston, like, you have an opportunity to create a lifelong Bruin with him versus, like, having to adapt somebody's playing style to the Bruins if they take advantage of it. I think he also, like, you can see in his gameplay right now that there is room for him to be molded into that player. He has a great basis, but not necessarily, like, has found his rhythm yet. So I think you have an opportunity if you take time with him, you turn him into a guy that plays, lives, and breathes Boston Bruins hockey.
Yeah.
And people don't like that, but I'm like...
No, they want people who are fresh out of the gate and can go. Because we had that with Pasta.
Yeah.
We unintentionally had it with McAvoy because he had to come in the playoffs because we needed a defenseman. So unintentionally happened with him. We're used to players coming in immediately. We're not used to growth, and a lot of people don't like it because it's new.
Yeah.
A lot of people haven't seen it. Boston's been this great team from, like, 2003, I want to say, onward. Because they were they were at the bottom in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the middle, early 2000s, and then I don't know if exactly the 2003, but definitely after drafting Bergeron, they just went up.
Well, and I think people, like, forget that we sucked for that time period because you still had these huge names.
Yeah.
But they weren't necessarily doing the right things. You just have memorable players. But you didn't have a memorable team during that time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the missing years of history.
Yeah. Like, we had to suck in order to get Joe Thornton as the first overall pick.
Forever a Bruin. I don't care. Nobody can convince me he was a Shark. I don't care if it says it. He was Bruin. You'll never tell me anything different.
He started as a Bruin, and that's what matters.
Yep.
He was ours first.
He will never be a Shark.
But it's like...
I'm in denial.
You had to suck to get that.
Yeah.
And sure, it's a great name, and yeah, we sucked when we had him too. And we started picking it up a bit near the end of our time with him, but you only get the really good players because you don't play well.
Look at the San Jose Sharks. Look at the San Jose Sharks. They literally
or Chicago
right now. God, they're going to be so good in like 2-3 years, though.
I'm 5 years, Sharks. I'm not going to want to play against them.
They're all so young right now, too. They're going to grow up together, and they are going to be unstoppable.
5 years when they hit like their prime.
They're going to be.
I don't want to see it. Like I want to see it, but I don't want to play against it.
No, because we don't have anything, but like we don't have anything to build in 5 years.
No, we have
like years and theirs, but like
we have a core, but it's an older core because it involves Pasternak, McAvoy. You have Sway and he's young, but the guys we're building it around, if we continue with it, are both on the young and old side. That there's it's
not like a core that you can build on for the next 10 years.
No.
Like the Leafs, the Leafs are in the middle of it with their core, like, and they're starting to hit their groove finally in the middle of it.
I don't like it.
Listen,
they're not supposed to be winning.
The bad part is I want to hate Mitch Marner so bad, but listen, the kid's just a little sweetheart. I hate the rest of them. Mitch Marner, I'm never gonna hate him.
I hate him because of his jersey. I look at it, see Toronto, and go, "You suck." Just for the Toronto. Ignore the face, see the jersey. There you go.
Yep. And I grew up like right on the opposite side of St. Lawrence River. Like the St. Lawrence River was the only thing that divided me from Canada my entire life growing up. So I grew up with all of these Sabres fans and Toronto fans.
Yeah.
And I will hate them until the day I die.
I grew up right outside of Boston. Still live in Massachusetts. So that Toronto and Montreal hate is very, very strong in my blood.
Yeah. See, my mom grew up on like the New York side, the New York border of Montreal. So she was a Habs fan growing up.
Ooh.
Mom, I hate your team. She's like, yeah, I understand that. I hate yours too. I'm like, glad we have an understanding. That's funny. Well, with that, I think that's that for the week. We've got chaos happening the next 2 weeks with the Four Nations. I forgot what it's called for a second. And then we start again on Saturday the 22nd.
Woo!
What we'll look like between now and then. Who knows what conversations are happening between closed doors. We'll then have 2 weeks until trade deadline. 2.5, 3. Close to 3. Yes.
What is it? From the 22nd?
Yeah.
Just under 2 weeks. 13 days.
So it's going to be full-on chaos.
And we won't know what's happening.
Nope.
Until it happens, because Sweeney is somehow a genius at making sure nothing gets heard. And I will praise him for that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give him a lot of praise, but I think it's impressive with how much the press gets into every other trade that anything that comes out of Boston, you never hear about until it's happened.
Until it happens. And if you do hear about it, it's somebody making it up because they have no idea what's happening.
And it's the craziest thing.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. It's going to be an interesting 2-month sprint, really, truly. Where can the people find you? Where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Liz__Fraser.
Yes. You can find the podcast at Pucks and PP's Pod on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me at Hyper Emmy. You can find our network, Boston Sports Entertainment Network, at BSEN_617. You can find these great sweatshirts and t-shirts. Y'all, they're so comfy. I have the ceiling fan on because I was sweating because it's nice and warm. BSEN617.square.site. And Liz will not be here next week. I don't know if I will be here with my husband or if I say, no, thank you, I don't need your opinions on the internet. TBD, stay tuned. I don't know if I'm mentally and emotionally ready for that chaos to be released onto the internet yet.
You know what? Maybe we should do one day where it's us and then your husband and my fiance.
That would be so fun.
2 guys getting into hockey with 2 girls who know hockey.
Stay tuned for that one, y'all. That'll be fun. We should do that. I'm down.
We should.
Oh, that'll be good. All right, friends. We will see you when we see you. Stay tuned to the socials.
We'll keep them updated. We promise.
Yes.
Tell us also what you want us to do
Yeah.
during the 2 weeks off, because while there is 4 nations, there's not that many games out of it. And there's a lot of days of just nothing.
Yes. Yes. All of that. All right, friends. We will see you when we see you. Have a great day, night, week.
Whatever time it is.
All of the things.